a lot of people are not getting married, and lots of marriages are breaking because people have traumatic responses. What are traumatic responses? There are ways that people respond to things that happen to them, to what people did to them, or communication. Like, let's just say communication in relationships, or a response to an event. And it is very self-sabotaging, and they are very, very controlled by demons. Why? Because most people who have trauma responses or traumatic responses come from a bloodline of witchcraft and the occult. And so what this implies is that somebody in your bloodline dedicated the family to Satan, and Satan now released its demons, family, occult family spirits, to each person born to that family. And what these things do is to traumatize those people by making sure they are not properly nurtured. Their parents are never always there for them. They are not emotionally present for them. Or maybe people who are supposed to take care of them are not emotionally, intelligently present for these people. They didn't help them process the things that were going on around them, or they were abusive to them. They were mentally abusive, physically abusive, verbally abusive, or they experienced molestation, maybe not by parents, but maybe people around them, or they grew up in a toxic environment. Just something wrong happened, not just as children. Some things actually happen to them while they become adults, or maybe early 20s or teenage age, so that the devil is able to like puncture their soul and open door to a flood of familiar spirits controlling their emotions. Familiar spirits control emotions. They amplify thoughts. They exaggerate things that will happen, so that people begin to spiral in aggression, in depression, in anxiety, and that will give people responses. They will respond in a negative way towards people or to the event that happened, and it will self-sabotage them, because usually the things that actually happen are not exaggerated as those demons have actually exaggerated it in those people's minds. So what are these responses? Have you seen, I'll mention a few, okay? So have you seen people who are easily irritated? Like, you sit next to them and they wonder why your skin touched theirs, and they flip out. Why are you sitting here? Why are you touching me? Like, they easily flip, they easily snap, they easily get irritated. You can't really have a relationship with that. Or if you're married to that kind of person, really, that marriage is in war zone. Have you seen people who have victim mentality? So what do these people do? They easily suspect that people are going to do something wrong to them, and so they respond like that. They talk to people like that. Like, okay, say you're in a relationship, and then you called someone and the person did not respond in 1 hour. Then you begin to respond like this: so you're tired of me now? Who are you with now? You didn't even have my time, Abby. Those things are traumatic responses, because something inside you is afraid. You don't feel enough. You don't feel good enough. You don't feel there is something wholesome that somebody could be able to stay with you. So you're already thinking they'll then leave you for someone else. You never feel like the winner. You're always feeling like the one that's gonna get dumped. And usually either you leave the relationship, or you stay and knock the other person out, and that person will leave the relationship. That's not to gaslight people who are in relationship with Casanovas that drive their brains crazy. I'm talking about when it's not the situation. Okay, have you seen people who have people-pleasing attitudes? They people please. Because they are actually afraid to say no, because the other person may reject them or abandon them. So they will do anything, go to any length to satisfy the other person. A typical example of what happened between Didi and Cassie. And the person will go through all lengths. And the more you go through the lengths for this other person, the more you do not look attractive, because you don't know yourself. You don't appreciate yourself. You don't have self-respect. And it is a repellent. It is not attractive at all. And that will weaken that relationship immediately. Have you seen people who are control freaks? They love to control the narrative. They spin stories around. They spin your mind around. You have to see them the way they want you to see them, so they control your mind. They appear so neat, so beautiful, so handsome, and They have gestures. In fact, when you see them, you're like, oh, I wish this person is my wife. I wish this person is my husband. Like, the person who married them are the lucky ones. No, these are actually attitudes they put up in front, but right inside of them, they're so self-hating and they push it on the people that they're having relationships with. And but maybe you the person they're having a relationship is looking so fine when they started. By the time they get in the middle of that relationship, that person is shrinking because that other person's demonic spirit is now affecting that other person, because they are so controlling that they get to spin things. You become confused. The partners become confused. They start doubting themselves. They become so confused. So, and most of the time that relationship don't work. And even if it works, the other person is dying in depression, in anxiety, and every other thing. And this is why marriages are in turmoil. Okay, have you seen people who, like in a workplace, they love to control everything. You have to do things exactly the way they want you to do it. They don't think you have a brain. They don't think you can contribute to stuff. And so they are irritating, because you don't want to stay around somebody who doesn't want to hear your opinion sometimes, or actually consider what you have to say. They always look at you like you don't have anything to say. In marriages, that is bad, because you don't think your partner has anything to contribute, and that is why the marriage is going to be in a war zone. And that's why you're not attracted to people are not attracted to people who are like this. Have you seen people who have anger, bad anger issues, and these two things, they flee before you know it, they are violent? Sometimes they get married, but that's the guys usually get their way getting married. But the girls don't usually do because they don't look like, no guy will see that and say they want to marry their fellow guy and keep their fellow guy in the house. No way. And so these responses, like I said, are controlled by demons. They are controlled by demons. So what you do is to start disagreeing with those demons. Start agreeing with God that you are complete. Have a love relationship with God. Not just go to church and have a love relationship with God, where you are conscious of what Jesus did for you. Where you're conscious of that God loves you, and to him you're enough. If you were the only person in this world, someone said, he would die for you. You have to come to that, and so that you can be able to stop these responses and get away from people who actually make you get into all this stuff. In my other videos, I'm going to be mentioning these things one by one, so that you can learn to fight these things. But the first way to fight is to know, awareness, and then you begin to open your mouth and talk about it, and talk about how bad these things are. You may not put it to yourself like I'm like this, but just talk about it normally. So find out what this dramatic response is, figure out which one is yours, and begin to pray against them, and begin to ask God to open your eyes so that you can heal and you can be a better person and attract better people to your life.